Yep, I can hear you fine. Oh, actually, I can hear myself on the stream.
Right, so just so you can see how beautiful. This is the figurine. For those of you who
Let me see. So that is the what Fred is holding up right now is the figure. No, very nice. They just it's a different character showing us. It's a pretty cool detail. What's gonna be coming to you? Yeah. See, that's a gun. A video game weapon. It also comes with mini bowling bombs, I've heard. Probably, but I'll say it just in case you can't hear it. So yeah, as you can hear and see that it's a very professional live stream, but we're trying. There it is, playing with this video games. Yes, that is one of the bowling bombs that's going to be coming in with the figurines. And that's a custom, not one. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a giveaway or something of some point of one of these great squishy bowling bombs at some point. But,
absolutely. Hey guys, we also have someone else online as well. We have Jonathan, programmer from Voidpoint, and Alex, also programmer Voidpoint, are both in here as well. Can you guys say hi?
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hello. And on the stream, let us know if you can actually hear Jonathan and Alex.
yeah. And in case anybody didn't know, that's Frederick Schreiber, the VP of Free Rums, and I'm Daniel Mortensen. I am every person, do a lot of different things at Free Rums, and do level design at Slipgate.
So that's Joe Siegel 2.0.
pretty much.
3.0, upgraded.
Yeah. And we're gonna play some Iron Fury today.
And we're gonna play it using the very recent janky control implementation. So hopefully we'll do well enough. Daniel will do well enough.
Yeah, I'll try doing well enough. Having played this a bunch, so yeah. I'll be ready to. I'm looking over. Yeah. Well, fuck the audio desync. I don't. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We can't really fix the audio desync. Well, if you can fix it, that'd be great. But I don't know if you can. But yeah, Iron Fury just came out a couple of hours ago now.
Yeah. So right now it's 10:14 a.m. PST. It came out at 6:30 this morning. Kudos to those of you who got up very early to play a few hours before heading to work.
Yeah, like the reception so far from yesterday and today has been overwhelmingly positive, I'd say.
Yeah. Actually, let's just do a quick little roundup here for those of you who haven't been paying too much attention to reviews. So let's just see. What does it say? So Destructoid gives it an 8 out of 10. Calls it a great game. That's good. LGR and Digital Foundry made some fantastic videos.
Yes.
Just going into crazy analysis and detail about the games. Civi as well made a great video. His video was really well produced.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Usually his videos are very well produced, but this one especially was...
I think it also helps that it's a build engine game in 2019, which obviously is a big plus. But yeah, like again, Digital Foundry I think was one of the first ones we saw internally, and then LDR came shortly afterwards.
Yeah. G-Man Lives. Yeah. G-Man Lives was he was positive. Had some
good
feedback, some good constructive feedback here and there about the game. You know, Iron Fury is not a game for everyone. It has a very clear core target demographic, which is.
But even then, like even for someone like G-Man, is that it wasn't negative. Like,
Exactly.
that's the thing. Like it was still very, very positive, and I think he like the criticism is in good faith in terms of wanting to see those kind of improvements, and it's definitely something we're listening to.
It's also the fact that he played the game over a year ago when the preview campaign came out, and back then you basically had two so-called retro shooters. The third one coming out on early access. You had Dusk, Iron Fury, and the Medieval. Since then, there's been so many retro style shooters that I do, to some degree, feel that if you're playing every single one of these retro shooters that come out, you can quickly get fed up because they all play on this 90s aesthetic in one way or another, whether it's gameplay or visuals or whatever.
And especially over the last year, it's been a very constant stream of those kind of games, which is both good because we haven't had those kind of games really before.
It's
but
good with the good ones,
Yeah.
and bad with the bad ones.
Yeah, but you also want to be careful. Yeah, you don't want to necessarily oversaturate yourself.
So let's see here. So we have with Destructoid 8 out of 10. Game Informer gives it a 9 out of 10 and calls it a nostalgic, a shooter that lives beyond its nostalgic ambitions to become a fantastic timeless FPS experience. I was really surprised by Game Informer.
Yeah.
They usually only give these kind of scores to huge AAA titles, and that was really nice to see. Some smaller ones, Jack of All Controllers, 8 out of 10. Tech Raptor, 9 out of 10. A Eurogamer, 4 out of 5 stars.
I don't think they do necessarily that anymore. They just do a recommendation or not, basically, and they recommended it. So yeah.
PC Games N calls it probably the best build engine game ever made. Which is like that. That's pretty big.
Again, like
because you have some of the best first-person shooters ever made
Yeah.
in build. I think if we look just in the 90s, I would say besides your id Tech games like Doom 2, and Quake 2, you have so many build engine games that were 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10s. You had Duke 3D, you had Shadow Warrior, you had Blood, especially. Roughly half of the 90s shooters that were really good and highly successful were build engine games. So calling it the best build engine game ever made, those are huge words.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, like it's been a while, so and with the great team at Void Point just kind of hitting it out of the park, like doing crazy kind of magic with the build engine and overall just making a really, really awesome game.
9 out of 10 from Game Revolution. Pretty funny. Game Skinny says "Hail to the Queen, baby." 9 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10 from Gaming Nexus. 8.5 out of 10 from Handsome Phantom. We have 9 out of 10 from PC Invasion. Calls it made in heaven for FPS lovers. Then we have a 6 out of 10. We're not talking about that.
I mean, even that, like, that's the thing. Like, some of these games, like, it's not going to be 10 out of 10. It's not going to be perfect for everyone. And that's the thing. Like,
there were a specific review from Rock Paper Shotgun with a guy who starts his review by saying that he did not grow up playing these games. He doesn't have fond, nostalgic memories of playing these types of games. And yet, he's the one who got to review it. Which, I'm not saying you need to be nostalgic towards this specific type of game or genre, but reading his review, it kind of looked like you asked someone who hates football or doesn't like FIFA games to review a FIFA game, and then he gives it a 6 out of 10 because it's a FIFA game. But, I think with all the other reviews, I think we're overall really, really happy.
And that's the thing. You don't see a game like this really get these kinds of overwhelmingly positive above, like, across the board in terms of, like, because it's such a, like, this kind of game is not for everybody.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we have gotten so much extremely positive reception so far is honestly really kind of awesome and amazing.
It's also fun to think that in the 90s, it was kind of for everyone.
Yep.
Because it was so new to play a first-person shooter. Like, Doom was installed on more computers than Windows when it came out. Duke Nukem 3D was such a huge success worldwide. Almost everyone who had a computer that could play video games needed a copy of Duke 3D. It's not like that anymore. So just the fact that there's still a market for these games and they can actually still survive and be somewhat successful is just a testament to the art of video games. There will always be a crowd for like greatly crafted experiences, whether it's games and music and movies and so on. And I hope that enough people will play this, that people who never played games like this will also give it a try and love it for what it is. Because it is a very different experience from, modern shooters like Fortnite.
I mean, even from different shooters in terms of that, but also from different, like, other genres and stuff like that. It's a different thing. I'm curious, like, before we start playing here, does any of the Void Point guys, Alex or Jonathan, do you guys have anything you want to add?
Well, thanks for the awesome compliments and sharing all these reviews. Just like it's sinking in now how the launch is real now and everyone's enjoying the game. So thanks.
Oh,
Everybody's comments and stuff like that.
our guy over here says wait. Apparently, he's trying to connect some.
Okay, guys can go again.
Oh yeah, now we go. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you to everyone who's playing the game and enjoying it, and for all of those great reviews and all the compliments. It's really surreal. Everything's still sinking in that the game is out now and people are enjoying it. So
I also
Thanks.
see in the chat. I think we have some Jacob fans here posting pictures of him. But
Our current tech guy. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I think that's definitely also the reception I've gotten from like just looking at, talking with the other Voidpoint guys and stuff, is that it's been really a passion project for them, and the fact that we've gotten to be able to kind of work together with them and kind of put this game out there and having so many people like really liking it a lot and getting a really good reception also from the press is I think it's awesome.
absolutely.
Our fans are really supportive too, and it's really awesome to see everybody come in. And we listen to everything good and bad that you say, and we appreciate all of it. Everything that you do for us.
I think it's also a huge group effort to see, because this is a niche game. This type of game is a niche genre, and I think part of what brings so many people together and so many fans together in supporting these kinds of games, also games like Dusk and Medieval, is that most of these guys grew up with these games and are tired that you don't see levels with multiple paths and open level design and a difficulty that actually makes sense for faster paced shooters and so on and so forth. You don't see that in modern shooters anymore, so they kind of gather around the games that actually try and bring that back, because there has been some kind of de-evolution generally in first-person shooters over the past 20 years, where they've become more and more linear, more and more dumbed down, which doesn't really make sense considering how people who play these games have been trained to be better at certain things in video games. So
I saw a comment from somebody the other day on a forum post about the game, about how it was somebody that had reviewed the game, and they commented that they realized how sick of the current game design that they were because of how dense everything is in the game.
And it's funny when you read someone who talks about the level design. For instance, Leo is in here now, and he made, for instance, the first level in the game. He made probably the prettiest levels in this game. But when you see someone comment the uniqueness of the level design, yes, in 2019 it's very unique. But again, it's not the fact that you guys set out to make crazy, unique new levels. You just make levels how they're supposed to be. Like if you play Duke Nukem 3D and Shadow Warrior and so on, the types of levels you'll get. Of course, in Iron Fury they're grander and larger than life, because now we can do much more. But the core design of how the levels work is pretty much what we grew up with and what we love, and we're just continuing to do that. But I think a lot of modern players have kind of forgotten how it used to be, or didn't even know that it used to be like that, and then they think of it as some kind of advanced. Wow, holy cow! You can take multiple paths and multiple exits. This is super advanced. No, not
insane
really.
amount of secrets and all this kind of stuff. Yeah,
even like there's so many levels in Duke 3D that has multiple exits and multiple entrances and paths. Like even Hollywood Holocaust, like you can go 3 different routes in the beginning, and you can basically solve the mission in 3 different ways from the get-go. Like that's not new. That's 20 plus 23 years old. Hey Leo.
Yeah.
Let's see if Leo can hear us as well, or if Leo is on here.
His mic
on here, Leo. Oh, he's muted.
yeah, I think he can hear you. I think he just doesn't have his mic set up.
Leo will join in when he has it up.
To go back to what you were just saying, I wanted to. There's one review where they said this very important thing, where they said that they've spent a lot of time looking for little imperfections and other things in the levels, because after doing something that was just crazy enough to work on like a platforming section, and everything was successful, they realized there's not really any imperfections. There's no accidents. Everything is tuned, and there's all kinds of stuff to explore.
Yeah,
everywhere. Everything means something.
And when you look at or watch LGR's video, and he talks about the amount of detail in the game, how meticulously crafted it is, I don't think people who haven't worked with build don't necessarily understand how much it actually takes. Like someone mentioned on the Discord channel that he asked, how do you bake shadows, for instance? But the fact that every single shadow has to be its own sector, and you have to manually change the brightness of that, or the texture, and do that for the entire game, it just puts it in a whole other category of crazy. Because in every other engine that's not 100% dynamic and real time as Build was, you can pretty much just bake it. Like you bake it and done. Like BSP, for instance, with Quake and everything that pretty much came after it, except for Doom 3.
Yeah,
Doom had a combination in some cases, but Doom 3 was, it's a one-off. But here, it's just the way I'm actually curious about that. The way that I remember in the 90s, whenever I was doing shadows in a map for Duke 3D, it was pretty much just a guess. Like, okay, I have a light here, so I guess these shadows should be here, and then I would like draw out the sector and I would turn down the brightness and make it dark. But for these hugely complex scenes, did you guys use any kind of tool to cast the shadows, to take a screenshot and then manually go in and make them just to make sure they're accurate, or is it just basically gut feeling?
It depends on the area, and it depends on the mapper. Some areas were completely done by hand, and in other cases, they used. So there's an abandoned, basically, renderer known as Polymer.
Yeah, that did real-time lighting and shadows. Lighting. Yeah.
So they would stick a Polymer light in as a quick guide, and then they would carve out the basic like shape, and then get rid of the Polymer lights, and then go in and tune everything to be how it should be. But it was like a starting point. But
yeah,
for most of them, it was like, oh, the light's coming from here, so we'll put a shadow here. But you have to think about it on multiple levels. You were saying everything has to be done by hand. Well, every light switch has to be done by hand too. You have to add all of the things in each sector to change the light in the room and decide how much each sector, and even sometimes each surface of each sector, is going to change. So it's all manual work.
I think one of the reasons that you mentioned this person who said that he just looked everywhere to find the small little mistakes. I think one of the reasons that it's so hard to find small little mistakes is that every single thing has to be manually put there. If you look at modern games, you put a few lights in there and you build the lighting, and then all of the shadows and the lighting in the level is pretty much calculated for you. So you don't necessarily look in every single corner of the entire level to see if it looks perfect, because you just assume that the engine takes care of that. But in Iron Fury's case, you actually go in and do all that manually. Yeah. So that is one of the reasons I think that everything looks so fantastic. But again, on the opposite, if you didn't have fantastic level designers, it would also look pretty shitty. So it goes both ways.
We have a question from the viewer.
Yeah, I have a question.
Will there be a Steam workshop to handle user-created content?
Right. So one of the questions we just got was that are we going to have Steam Workshop support to handle some of the user levels and stuff like that? And that is 100% something we either are going to have very, very, very
It's
soon.
actually in the Evan posted Evan posted a post that we pinned today that talks a bit about Steam Workshop. It will come in a very soon patch.
And then we have another question.
And some people asked me on our Discord about achievements, and the achievements just aren't hooked up to Steam yet, but the game is tracking them as you're playing. So, and I believe it says that in that forum post as well. So don't worry, you will get achievements.
Yeah, much like also trading cards and stuff like that, is that in theory it should, even if it's not at launch, it'll still come. It'll basically like just give you once it back, like once it gets approved and stuff like that. So yeah.
So don't fear playing the game.
Yeah, and also if you want to like stuff with like workshop and stuff like that, it's coming soon.
All right, should we get started? Should we play some Iron Fury on controller?
On controller.
Holy shit!
I must admit, this is the first. Right?
So Should we? Yeah. So, what difficulty? What do you guys think on Discord? Which difficulty should we play at with controller?
Oh, for goodness sake!
Just do ultra
I'd
visual
recommend
on
skill
max.
2, like normal.
Yeah, just do skill 2. Don't go crazy.
Yeah. Jacob, can you? Jacob will play it, and you'll just be with the controller. Hey,
Like we're
playing.
doing so. it's a very.
Can you do the thing,
haphazard-
Jacob?
It should. I'm not.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Just the thing, you'll probably have an issue with Discord being too low because the game is really loud.
Okay. But yeah, like guys, if you have any, if like the game is too loud or you can't hear like Alex and the other guys, just give a shout.
Yeah, if anyone on this, or sorry, on Twitch thinks that anything is too loud or low, just let us know. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
So Akuras asks if we have a plan to add Duke Nukem to the game. No.
No.
Well, actually, so John St. John is in the game, so you can kind of say Duke Nukem is in the game. But we have spoken with Gearbox many times about doing collaborations, and they know what we would love to do and what Waypoint would love to do. So the ball is kind of in their court, and if they want to do something, they know who to call.
And so yeah, here's the first level. We actually go back here a little bit. So I mean, even from the start here, it's honestly kind of pushing. Like you never saw this kind of amazing kind of setup.
Oh, here's Mike.
in the build.
Holy cow! Let's move over.
Yeah.
Mike, did you say hi to everyone?
Hello, everyone.
I mean, they can't see you. I think they have to go all the way over there.
There we go.
That's
Mike.
Mike.
Press that up for you.
Mike, say hi.
Hello.
The press is in the house.
So yeah, here we got Iron Maiden, the first building
What?
game. Oh, sorry.
What?
Iron Fury. Totally.
Here comes the lawyer. Mike is the lawyer, like secret attorney from.
Typical.
He's waiting outside.
Gonna run away.
We're gonna get sued.
Yes. Every time someone says Maiden, just gonna get another lawsuit.
So yeah, here we got the like again like the stuff like in all these kind of like building games. There's a lot of references, a lot of secrets and stuff like that. So, I mean, you can't have a tech noir bar without Full Ends Arcade
Yeah.
right next door.
And the arcade machines were actually a super last minute update. Like
Yeah. At least in terms of the art.
getting the artwork. It's actually pretty fun. Some of these logos were based on the high-res logos that actually came from Jacob. It's pretty kind of crazy. You have a low-res logo, and then you make a high-res version. You make a low-res version out of that high-res version to put into a low-res game again. It's like full circle.
I can do this with a controller as well. Oh yeah, I'm totally doing that with control. Yeah. Well. Oh well. But yeah, like again, like in every kind of build engine game, there's a lot of secrets, and one of these is relatively simple, at least for the start. But if I can do this on the controller, it's gonna be the magic. Oh,
Come on.
oh, come on!
How many coins does Shelly has from the beginning? Like, is it infinite?
She has infinite.
She has infinite coins.
There
That's
we go.
that's just because she's baller.
Yeah.
That's all.
Reminds me of in Sin, where you can get Alexa Sinclair's account number and just steal all her money in the first level. That's hilarious.
And something that people are probably like didn't really think about probably from the preview, but we had a lot of requests for. It's working mirrors.
Yeah.
Working mirrors. In the building game.
That took quite some time to get working.
One would think that since it was in Duke and
Yeah.
so forth, it would be easy, but
And look at those voxel sinks.
oh yeah,
How fantastic they look. That is FGS, FDS, FGS sus work. Oleg, who's the one of the only people I think in game development today who actually does good-looking voxels or voxels at all.
and of course you can.
Yeah. So tell us the toilet chair. So
Yeah.
the flipping seat. I guess it's just, is it sectors moving or is it a couple of
Yeah.
sprites put together? Or sectors?
It's sectors moving actually. Yeah.
Oh man, that's so cool.
If you want another fun thing, if you crouch down, I think you can pull out sheets of toilet paper.
Oh.
See here if I can do this on.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's really, really cool.
That's amazing.
And, you know, we're not going to stay necessarily in the toilet every single time, but I also want to show give this guy a good shocking and beating.
There's a good GDF poster on the side there. I already enlisted here, my shirt here. I'm part of GDF Squad 69, I think.
Wow,
Or is it Squad 64? Squad 69. Yeah, the Shelly sprite turned out really well. It's actually a... the way Arturo made the sprite was he actually took the original bombshell model, cut off the head, and then basically built the new body based on the new armor. Some things were still the same, like her belt with the lover boy is still the same from bombshell. The straps that she has around her leg and so on, to kind of keep it consistent. Because the whole idea with the lover boy is that, you know, she has that in this game, she has it in the next one. The lover boy is her own weapon. It was handed down to her by her grandfather. So that's a weapon she has, you know, throughout this game and bombshell as well. But that is her core gun, like her signature weapon.
And of course, it wouldn't be a build-in game without.
Oh, actually, try and let's try and show them the key card. Let me just get one of the key cards here.
Yeah. Let's get.
Yeah, they just got the blue key card there. So before you use it, it's, so these are the
There
key
you can
cards.
see that's one of the blue key cards that comes with the Founders Edition. So yeah, that's kind of what you're gonna get, and using it in game. That's what it is.
Also,
Yeah, you guys probably can't hear Fred, but as you can see, that is the blue key card from the Founders Edition. It's super cool. We were really happy with how this one turned out. Once we got it back over. Yeah, I just do. So let's get out here into. You know, you've kind of been in the bar now for a little bit. You've kind of gotten used to controls, how to, you know, open doors, shoot, stuff like that. And now you go out and you really start like, seeing the kind of detail that you put
Oh, we should talk about the big box. Well, the big box is it's a tricky subject. Because we have a lot of cool stuff. We basically had all the big boxes done. Until we had to put them all away and make new ones.
Yeah, I wonder.
So, we can yeah, actually, let's show them a rad one so they can see what, you know, because we can't really.
At least in terms of size and stuff like that. So, it's a big one, it's very hairy. Comes to sleeve, has this nice. The box inside is going to have a very cool sort of 3D realms or look to it.
Yeah. I don't think, we don't have, they are
Not
all,
in the office, no.
all the top secret Ion M versions are packed away.
But yeah, here you can kind of get a size reference in terms of controller and...
I would say it's
it's bigger than sort of the average big box.
key hangers and everything is on the website. But yeah, the big box is... What do you compare it to? If anyone has seen the Diablo 3 Collector's Edition, that size, you know, that's roughly the size we're going for. Yeah, let's see what... So, basically every game we'll release from 3D Realms will have a big box, and they will all be coming out in this size, basically. Yeah. So we can pack a ton of stuff into them. Yeah. Oh yeah, so this is the comparison, you know, if you already know about Diablo 3, the Collector's Edition, how big that is. That's the same size of boxes for Ion Fury. Which so they're in production right now, actually. We do have some production images. Mike and I will probably also go to the factory soon, check out how everything's going. It's a pretty hard process, because the thing is, you can't order these things off the shelf. anymore. So the way we wanted to do it, if we were going to do it, and we did that with Red Rogers as the first game, was we kind of have to make it ourselves in order for it to become the quality that we not only expected from classic games, because a lot of classic shooters actually had a pretty shitty box. Not the $3 ones, they had some cool ones with embossing and everything, but we wanted it to be high quality. So we got in touch with a company that does other types of boxes, and we got a custom press made. And this custom press would basically be of the dimensions that we would like to have for these boxes. So our requirements were basically, the same ratio as a regular 90s box, but just supersized, so we could fit more stuff in them. And then after that, every single part of it, from the way it opens to the sleeve to the press to make it, and all the items are made by individual companies and distributors from all over the world. Everything is then sent on big pallets here to Denmark, and from here we pack everything. It's kind of like the old 3D days where they packed everything themselves in the studio. It's gonna get packed in a factory around an hour drive from here, and then we have around 500 Founders Editions that are gonna be packed and shipped to a distribution center, and then we have 1,000 regular editions which are going to be shipped to another distribution center. And how that then works is this distribution center has all of the orders from all of you guys, and then they will distribute all of the boxes to all of you around the world. So it's very long and very tricky process, but yeah, so there's a distribution center both in EU and US, so yeah. So hopefully within a month time, as we wrote on our website, between August 15 and September 15, we should be able to send it all out. But everything is, mostly everything is pretty much arrived, and it's just, right now it's just the packing, the wrapping up, and distributing all the boxes. That is the final step.
We're still struggling along here. I'm doing okay.
You're doing okay.
I haven't died yet, so...
So this street right there is one of the coolest streets. We had that in the trailer as well. Very, very Blade Runner-esque, with the noodle bars and the rain and the alleys and everything. Of course, smoke coming out of sewers all the time.
Here we go. Here we get the disperser, aka the shotgun.
So we have a Rebel Coder who asks if we had any contact with Ken Silverman during the development of Iron Fury. We kind of did. I don't think Jonathan and Alex, we didn't have any contact just in terms of pure development, right?
He didn't do any development, but he did, like we would ask questions about different parts of the engine, and he was apprised of everything that was going on pretty much every step of the way. So
yeah,
but he didn't actively develop. He does his own thing now.
Yeah. Ken is still in, he's involved with this. He made build, and he, everything that gets made on build, Ken gets a little out of that because he made the engine in the first place. But yeah, as an advisor, and of course answering technical questions about his baby, as Jonathan says, he was part of it. All right, see you later, Mike. Yeah, sure.
Ooh, I got pretty close to dying, but so far, so good.
You might want to go back and eat some of the food from the stalls.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Luckily here I knew there was a med kit inside, so that helped. And also one of the things, like if you're playing like for the first time and you're having a little bit difficulty sometimes, like you either need some armor or something like that. Again, food is definitely like, keep an eye out for that, but also trash cans and stuff like that hides armor shards. That's also very useful. A little bit of health before we go. Ammo.
So OK Newman asks, that's probably for you, Alex, and you, Jonathan, If we're using direct/X input or Steam's keyboard to controller conversion.
It's actually using SDL, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is using the SDL2 controller system. So it supports pretty much every kind of controller that you try to give it. Internally, SDL remaps those controllers as if it's X input, so we can handle it in a nice straightforward way, and whichever controller you plug in, it just has mappings for it.
Gazuka says you created a timeless classic. Yeah, how does it feel?
Feels really good.
Yeah. I think there are certain things that we would love to see done in the future, but we don't even know if it's possible. But we recently did a control, or we're working right now on the control support for Wrath as well. And one of the things that we used as a reference there is, of course, how Halo feels to control. And some of the reasons it feels so good is because of how it magnetizes. So basically, if your crosshair is within a radius of an enemy visually on the screen, it kind of slowly, when you move the stick, it kind of slowly snaps in on the enemy, but it's something you don't really feel. But you feel if it's not there. It does a range of other things that are really clever, but how and if that's even possible to program all these things into an engine like this, we don't know.
We actually do have a feature like that for this combat with enemies.
Yeah.
Where it's changing the responsiveness, the feel of using it. Like I'm sure it's pretty. It's pretty subtle, but hopefully it feels like you're stopping on your targets. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a big part of it is already there. It's also fun how different it is between which type of controllers you play with. I know for a fact Doom 2016 on the Switch is pretty hard to play, since I don't think they did anything specific to the actual Switch controllers compared to the Xbox 360 or Xbox One and PS4 controllers. But since the sticks are so small and the travel between the dead zone and the edge is much smaller than on a PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One controller, it feels much harder to play and aim. But yeah, it's a whole science by itself how to do really good first-person controls.
Yeah. And I think also one thing to also keep in mind is that, again, if any of you guys have any sort of issues or like you feel like, oh, maybe adjust this thing, or you wish this kind of this controlled a little bit better or something like that, just hit up us on the forums or on Discord or stuff like that and give us feedback.
Yeah.
Whether or not we can do something, if nobody ever says it, we can't fix it.
Exactly.
And this is a game made by the community, and I think the Voidpoint guys know better than anyone how important it is for the community to talk about issues or feedback or tweaks that they'd like to see in the game, especially when everyone who worked on this game came from the community and knows how important it is that you actually feel that you're being heard. And this is a game for it's a game for you guys. It's not a game that we made just for ourselves and our own amusement.
Yeah,
Of course, it's fun to play, but
we also made it for ourselves.
made it because we kind of wanted a game like this. Which kind of leads in, I was looking through some of the old, back when we started working on this game, we had we didn't use Discord or anything. This is almost 5 years ago now. But back then we had a private Facebook group that was used for communication. And I was looking through and cleaning some Facebook stuff up, and I stumbled across this old Facebook group with all of the very, very early conversations about Iron Maiden, as it was called back then. It was Washington Project back then.
Yeah.
But
or Untitled Build Engine.
Untitled Build Engine and so on. But it was really fun to see how it all started, because in the very beginning, I don't even think, like, Jonathan, when did you come on board? You were one of the first ones, M. Blackwell. I remember you came on board relatively early.
Yeah, I started want to say probably between 3 and 6 months after the project initially started, and then I've been there ever since, for the last almost 4 years.
Yeah, because in the beginning it was, I think the post is still there. I posted a thread on duke4.net on the forums, kind of trying to tell everyone what we wanted to do without actually telling people what we wanted to do. But the gist of this was basically that we wanted to make a new build engine shooter, and the Duke4.net community is pretty much the largest and if not the only build engine community left. And that is where you find everyone who's worked on some of the coolest projects of recent memory. Back then, it wasn't too long ago that Duke Forever 2013, that mod had come out. Quite a few people on the Iron Fury team has actually worked on that mod as well, which is fantastic. That was one of the reasons as well that I posted on Duke4.net, just to figure out who would be the perfect people for this. And I've heard about Richard and Emin before. I knew them from the forums, and of course from eDuke32. We also used eDuke32 from the official 3D rooms port on the website of Duke3D. And they reached out, I think actually in an email, and said, "Hey, we'd like to be involved in this project." And obviously, people behind eDuke32, there wouldn't be a better match. And then, because they know everyone on Duke4.net, besides being kind of the co-owners of the forum, they've also been working in this engine forever, just as you have, Jonathan. So they basically put together a team of everyone they wanted, everyone they knew from the build engine community who do things. There were certain people who were not build engine community, mappers and artists and so on, who came from other parts of creative game work. Like for instance, Jarko, the musician, some of the artists who did some of the pixel art haven't worked with build before. And of course, some of the 2D artists, Arturo and Isabel from our team also came in. Arturo and Isabel both worked on Bombshell as well, so it was a natural fit to have them come in as well and help out with the prequel and do some more fantastic art. But yeah, I think the first 6 months was basically just talking about, what is the concept, what is the story gonna be, what's the size, and the size of the game back then was going to be very small compared to this. The idea was basically to create I would almost call it a preview campaign sized spin-off, co-marketing type thing, where we thought it would be cool to do, but never thought it would be anything that could be commercially successful. And you have to think, back then, there were no Medieval, there were no Dusk, there were no... The only game that I would pretty much consider a retro shooter would be like the first game we did at Interceptor called Rise of the Triad, which was still, modern graphics and so on. But this first retro first-person shooter renaissance hadn't started yet, so we never thought that this could actually become a commercial project at that time. And then, it just took off. 6 months later, the team grew, and when we started seeing the first screenshots and getting the first tastes of what it would actually become, it just hit us how fantastic this could actually be. And then the game grew like 5 or 6 times in size, and now it's the biggest build engine game ever made. It's a 9 to 10 hour game, 3 times as long as Duke 3D. It's pretty fantastic.
I remember, if I remember right, sometime after that initial planning period, Richard contacted me. We'd worked together tons in the past, and he said, you're the best at this, at like conscripting, coding, design, like game design type stuff. We're on the same page on all this stuff. Please come on board. And then everything just took off, and fan support has been nuts since the beginning. So
I think another reason why Iron Fury became the game it is, and it's hard to do this nowadays if you want to do games for a living, but it was a game made without any constraints in terms of of time. Of course, we had, we had internal milestones and what we wanted to do, but we never planned at the beginning that it would take 4.5 years to make. That was never the plan. But the more the game progressed and the better it became and the better it looked and felt, the longer it would take to make. But it's one of those rare examples where the game just got its time to breathe. If we had earlier deadlines, we had some earlier this year, we had late last year, and whenever we came closer and closer to one of these deadlines, and we realized, what, it could be so much better if we had more time. We just figured that out, and at some point you do have to lock down a date, of course, but I think that's one of the reasons it became such a good game and such a beautiful game and detailed and so on, is that it was allowed enough time to breathe and to really figure out, how do we want to make these things. But again, on the bright side, we now have something that is so much better and so much bigger in terms of technology than where we started, that if you guys want to do, or I should probably say when you guys want to do another build engine game, there's a lot of things you don't have to redo. Of course, there's always things on the list that you would like to do and optimize for the future, but a majority of how things are going to get made are already in this new version of eDuke 32, which is a huge step and huge time saver.
So yeah, one thing I wanted to bring up here is that I showed you guys a couple of secrets, delved across them here and there, but there's still 10 secrets left in this entire, last 2 levels we just went through.
I just saw, if anybody has any art questions or want to make a comment about something, our lead artist is here.
Hey,
Hi.
Alexander.
Hello. I'm here.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Cool. Great.
Welcome to the chat. It's awesome to have people from all over the world on this live stream.
Yeah, I'm currently in Poland, so in Europe.
My God. What are you doing? Why are you? What? Well, I was almost about to say what's the time there, but it's the exact same time as here.
Yes, it is.
You're like our lead programmer Greg also lives in Poland. He actually left for his holiday, but he didn't go to Poland this time. He just went on a 1,000-kilometer bike trip to Norway. So he's in somewhere right now. He's in the middle of the mountains in a little tent, watching this on his phone, I guess.
Riding bike for 1,000 kilometers doesn't sound like much of a vacation to me, but
oh god,
whatever.
it is for him. Like we had a guy who a weekend he called me, one of my friends, and told me, "Hey Fred, this weekend I did my first marathon." It's like, "Oh, it's cool. What did you do?" Well, I biked 60 kilometers. I'm like, wow, that's pretty hardcore. The same day, Greg posts a photo on his Facebook. Yeah, nice Saturday, 340 kilometers bike trip. It's like, oh.
that's just Saturday.
It's like a Saturday, Saturday bike trip. Well, I don't know what what's that, like 100 miles, 150 miles on a bike. Just like a little Saturday stroll.
Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here drawing things.
Yeah. Let's see. So we have who do we have here? We have Alexander from Poland. We have Alex in Canada. We have Daniel. So behind me we have freelancer Jacob. We have Daniel here. We have me. We have Kirill, who's from Bulgaria. We have Anders sitting here somewhere. That's Anders' hands.
Leo is also on the chat. He's from Argentina.
Leo from Argentina. We have Jonathan from Minneapolis. I've actually met you twice, Jonathan. Like both times where I was there to. Last time was actually pretty fun. Remember how Game Informer's reviewer Javi, how he talked about how he liked Iron Fury, but he was more into the dark fantasy type game, and then he gave it a 9 out of 10. It's like, wow, that's something, because that really shows how a good journalist, even though he has different preferences, he can still realize how good of a game it is.
Oh, and he knows his stuff too. When we were talking with him, he was very knowledgeable. He knew how to play these games. Like it wasn't like a foreign language to him.
Absolutely.
And he also understood like like he asked, he asked me, do you have game design experience? And I said, well, I've worked on this and this and this game, but most of my experience is modding.
That's also game design
3D and other stuff. And he said that's game design experience.
Yeah.
He totally understood, and he's done that kind of stuff. He's a knowledgeable guy.
You know the best filmmakers in the world are the biggest film nerds in the world. That's why Quentin Tarantino is such a good filmmaker. He has no theoretical background in how to make a film. He's just the biggest film nerd you can imagine. The same with a guy like Robert Rodriguez, and you have the same in game design. Like, none of the classic It guys were game designers. They were just nerds, and most of them Dungeons and Dragons nerds. So yeah, if you have a huge passion and you're a huge nerd within any field, I would say you're a bigger expert than most of the people who just decide, you know what, well, I'm going to take an education in game design, but they have no previous experience with it. So yeah, I absolutely, if anyone asks you, do you have experience as a game designer? Yeah, I play games all the time, so I know what good design is. Of course, if you have shitty taste in games, that's different.
Very so.
Yeah. Okay, so oh yeah, go ahead.
I guess most of us on the team were playing things like Duke Nukem 3D from, like, I don't know, like being kids.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone. I don't think there's a single guy who worked at least on the maps and programming on Iron Fury who weren't part of Duke 4net and the 3 Realms forums back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
maybe
from like Duke World era.
Maybe not Alex, because Alex is like 22, 24. But Alex told me this fantastic story about how his dad played Duke 3D with him as a kid.
Nothing there.
Yeah.
I was like, wow,
So
that's
when I
such
was-
a badass dad.
When I was really young, my dad would play Duke 3D, and he'd let me play on his computer, and he would teach me valuable life lessons, like don't shoot the strippers.
Yeah, tip the straighters instead. That's the
Yeah.
valuable life lesson.
I've had the same experience, but with Doom. So I was when I got Duke 3D, I was already old enough to play it myself.
Don't tip the demons.
I remember running Northern Commander and then going to the Duke directory and playing it. I was really surprised because someone discovered a map I made apparently and released it.
Oh
And
my
the
God.
date on it was 98. So the map is horrible, and the English README file is even worse. But it turns out I released that when I was 8. So
Or your dad did.
Amazing.
yeah, probably, or my older brother.
I don't think that a single one of the maps I worked on were ever released. I recently found almost floppy disks, and we were here at the office going through some of the old maps I'm working on back in like 97, 98, and it's so shitty. Like holy like you have an area that's like, okay, here's this big open area with no textures, it's just a block, and here's this hallway that is super crazy detailed, and then followed by another area without a single texture. And you can just clearly see how, I had an idea of, okay, I want this level to be like this, and then you start instantly just detailing every single little part, and then you get bored of it and start another level. So it's just all these levels that has some rooms that are very detailed, others that are super shitty, but there's no coherentness in any of it. It's just, wow. But
I found my really old Duke mod that I made like a bit later, so I was like maybe 11, and I released it on Duke 4net just for laughs because it's really terrible. It's all graphics taken from other DOS games, and but it's there.
That's how most mods
Yes.
are made today, Let's see if we have any other questions here. We have someone asked, is there anyone from Asia on the team? I actually don't think so. think like
I don't think we've
even
ever
from
had
previous
anyone.
games. Something like that. I don't think we have.
We had on Bombshell. We had Anton Lee or something. We had an animator who worked on Bombshell. No, our cinematic director.
Yes.
Who did the camera control for cinematics? He was Asian.
We don't have anyone from Asia in Void Point, but I don't know. Maybe in the future.
Let's see here if we have. Okay, any news on multiplayer? Nope.
Soon.
Next question.
At some point in the future, maybe.
Let's see. Can you give us a secret finder tool?
The secret finder tool is I can actually show this right now. You have two items that you can use in this game. You have a medkit and you have a little radar. So yes, that is you try and figure out where secrets are by that. Good luck.
Yep. Green dots are items, red dots are enemies. Explore.
Yep. That is your guide.
Dance, fucker, dance.
I think maybe some 1C guys will also hop in. We'll see.
So yeah, one thing to note is that Iron Fury is going to come to consoles in the next year. Around
Yeah,
there?
maybe we should give a small little update on that. So we did actually work on the console ports, but the approach we decided to take was not the one that what you call bore the fruit that we wanted. So we decided to almost start from scratch with another approach that seems like it might work. Alex knows much more about the console ports, so he can probably talk a bit more about the technical challenges, but it is hardcore stuff to get something like this running on console, even though it looks very old school and MS-DOSy.
Yeah, so the biggest hurdle is definitely the renderer and the scripting systems. They're definitely not oriented towards what modern consoles are expecting. So we've been working to really overhaul and optimize everything, and everybody at General Arcade has been doing a really solid job on continuing to optimize this stuff further.
Yeah, so we're getting help from General Arcade. They've been working on a range of other things. They also did work on Shadow Warrior, Shadow Warrior Redux. So they know the engine, and of course they're also fans of Iron Fury, which is awesome. So they know what they're getting into. Oh, I was wondering, Jacob, can you change to the Ion Bow Cam? We have an Ion Bow Cam.
Yeah.
Because then we can let's see. Then we can show them the floppy disk here on the Ion Bow Cam.
Well, you probably have to get close.
Yeah, it's probably very shit. Let's see.
Let's see.
Let's see how shit it is. We have a 640 by 480
Well,
webcam.
you can't see
here.
the.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Be careful, that thing's deadly.
It probably died. It's so old. Either worst case, we can always show it to the other one.
It's kind of ironic. It's called Trust. The webcam is called.
There you
Whoa!
go. Whoa!
Whoa! Oh yeah, let's see. This is the Ion. Oh shit! Let me just put it. This is the Ion Fury.
You're not gonna even if you tried, you're not gonna.
I'm gonna go.
Right. Even if you do it close, you're not gonna see. Yeah. So, you know what? Give it to the proper camera. This even up close. So in a second here, Fred is gonna go to the other camera here, and as you can see, the iron bow is pretty awesome. Yeah. Don't show the other part of that name, because that is not. All right.
We can show the Ion bow here.
Yes.
That's the one you guys have seen from the game. Oh shit.
trigger is kind of a...
Yeah, don't. I so this is a prop we got made by the company called Vulcan Props. It is, as you can see, a replica of the famous ion bow from Iron Maiden. It is very hairy. It is very cool. It's very awesome, but it's also very fragile. So yeah, as you can see, it's pretty awesome. We wish we could kind of show it off more in terms of, we had it at PAX, one of the PAXs recently, which was very cool, and people could get to see it and stuff like that. But turns out some of these props are very fragile and can easily break.
Fragile, yeah, can easily break. Like this trigger here, I think we need to just super glue a few things together. Like,
yeah.
Most of these things happened. Well, the first thing happened right when we got this thing. We put it up on a on a little table at PAX, and then we wanted to take a group photo in front of it. And then the second everyone says, "Smile," Mike just decides to bump his ass into it, and it falls down and just cracks. Like the front here, these two things just fall off. So that's the first time it broke. And then it broke in shipping, and then it broke in the second shipping, and then this is not meant to be.
Yeah, it got very quickly very dangerous to kind of travel around with, and even here in the office, like we can't really do much with it, even when we're holding it and stuff like that. So yeah. But what we actually was gonna show is we're gonna show the very, very special thing that Founders Edition people are gonna have.
So this is what this is the thing, the Founders Edition.
So
people are gonna get, not this specific one, because this specific one is there's Iron Maiden on it, but old version. But yeah, so it is an actual floppy disk, and then you can slide this thing, and then a little USB comes out on the side here, which you can then connect. It comes with the Founders Edition comes with cables, so you can just connect the cable to here and into your computer, so you don't have to have it, dangling on the side of your computer. So yeah, that's what that looks like. We can also show Shelly a bit more close up here. With the bombshell figurine, you can take off. Whoa, that was the bowling bomb. Ah, there it is.
Don't lose it.
You can take off the bowling bomb and use them as little toys. But yeah, she's actually based off another model that the designer of the character Arturo did. This is based off the what can you call the Pixar-ized, Pixar style version of Bombshell.
Sort of the cartoony-ish, chippy version of Shelly,
which was in Red Rogers. But yeah, she's pretty cool. She has like a little GDF thing on her chest. But yeah, I actually think she has a detachable foot here, where you can a pretty good heavy base. Yeah, it's pretty damn nice. Is there anything else cool we can show?
I think
we have a lot of cool shit.
Yeah, again,
is there anything Ion Fury related?
So
we should have the big boxes here.
So yeah, again, we wish we had the big boxes to kind of show off, but due to recent circumstances, we had to kind of.
We do have a lot of Duke Nukem stuff that's cool to show, but we can't do that.
Yeah,
this live stream.
There's a lot of really, really cool Duke Nukem stuff, but
not on this live stream.
Not on this one. Not on this one.
It's not the right one.
Oh shit! You have the phone. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people wanted to get the box, and that's the thing. Like when we initially launched the Founders Edition of the box. When we initially launched the Founders Edition of the box, was that a lot of people got it and a lot of people really liked it. But some of the first receptions that we got was that people wanted a non-limited, cheaper alternative, and we listened, and first we wanted to kind of take care of our Founders Editions first and kind of get that all settled out, and then a few months ago we decided, okay, it's time. Let's get a cheaper $60, I believe it is.
Yeah.
$60 version of the big box. Doesn't have the same as cool stuff, I would say, as the Founders Edition.
It's still super cool.
But it's still very, very
Still
cool.
very
It's
cool.
still the same kind of very awesome box that's gonna be freaking awesome to have laying on your mantelpiece or display case or wherever you wanna show it off.
So I think it's a pretty good time to, well, do some giveaways.
Oh,
Some key giveaways. But I think the coolest way to do some key giveaways is to do a little challenge. Because we do have some bowling bombs. And I'm thinking if we should make a basket like this one that you can actually see. And then Daniel and I, we get 3-4 bowling bombs each. And the first one to guess how many of them we will actually get in there will get a key.
okay.
Should we do that?
We can try.
Ah. All right, let me just see how many I can find. I'll take a look at. Oh.
So we have 2 here.
All right. So they're doing very, very fancy. Oh, bunch of
Okay,
bowling bombs here.
let's do 8 bowling bombs.
8 bowling bombs. All right.
So 8 bowling bombs, and where do we throw from? Should it be?
I would recommend somewhere where there's not cables or anything that can be destroyed.
Yeah.
That would probably be a good.
We can stand from there and then throw into that one. Yeah. See, this will be right there.
Okay. So under the
Should
table.
it be? Let's do it with Jacob and I. All right.
Okay.
All right. So
Yeah.
we have 8 bowling bombs.
Yeah.
Should it be the winner of it, or should it be how many we get in?
I would say how many for each person.
How many for each person?
Yeah. So
Okay,
you can.
So write in the chat, Fred : how many, and then Jacob : how many.
And the one who gets it, the first one who gets it, gets a key.
Wait. We should probably have we don't have a website set up for that giveaway.
No, we'll just keep an eye on chat, and whoever
You
guesses.
keep an eye on chat,
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on chat, and whoever guesses first, good luck. I'll try and remember your name.
Where's the line?
So you guys can probably not hear him, but
Okay.
I'm gonna try and do some commentation.
You have to throw it into the.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, any of you guys in the Void Point team wanna? Oh, we got a miss here from Jacob. Another miss. Oh, one hit. Oh, and a miss.
All right.
Okay, so one for Jacob.
Underhand or upper hand is the best.
Don't think anyone guessed one on Jacob.
Oh.
Oh. Ooh. Nobody.
Nobody picked me.
Rock Dad kind 69 kind of got it, but
Who was closest?
I mean, if you wanted to do it closest before it actually happened,
Yeah.
it would probably be Shakal Cool
We'll do a
or
rematch.
actually Mystical SC with 0-0.
Maybe it's easier to just say who wins.
Yeah.
So okay. So Jacob won the first one.
All right, so let's do it this time. So you try and guess who's gonna win, or get the most into the basket, and the one who gets the most in the basket, the first one who guesses right, wins a key.
Then you said go.
Go. Oh, and 0 for Jacob. No.
No, it was too much. Ah, it bounced on the edge. What is easier to do this?
Let's see how many you get in.
Spray and pray.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob got 0, so Jacob did not win. Anybody who tried to guess.
No one wins.
Yeah.
Oh, the real wins.
If nobody wins, I'll choose one at random. Oh. Well, did Fred automatically win?
Although-
Ah, come on.
We do have some viewers guessing tie.
Oh, well, I can just tell you already, it's not gonna be a tie.
Good shit.
Ooh.
All right, so Fred was the first winner. It wasn't. I must admit, Fred was not the first answer that people suggested. But
Did I have my
Gadsuka is our first key winner.
Alright,
Well, I think a lot of people expected from the last match that Jacob would be the winner,
So
but
now I think
They were
doing
using the
one with
alt fire lob
Anna
on those
and Andrea.
bowling bombs, and it was
Yes.
just incorrect. You know,
Fred.
they should have used the homing feature.
yeah, definitely, that's a very good point. Definitely should have used the homing feature, but apparently. Well, I mean, the homing feature is also more for...
You have to hold in, you have to squeeze for long enough
Yeah,
for it to hold.
and I also don't know if the homing feature works on trash cans, but yeah.
Maybe that's a tweak we have to make in the game.
Yeah. But yeah, like...
On all trash
Alright,
cans are
so we
enemies.
have...
yeah.
We have Anas. Anas versus Andrea. So I can already say I'm definitely voting for Anas because Andrea is a shitty aim. All right, let's see. It's so freaky seeing it in the TV and then it just lands here.
Yeah.
Oh, you have 5 each? Okay.
Okay. So yeah, it looks closer and closer to no one is gonna win.
You can't write after Andrea, like after both of them throw. Yeah, Anas wins. Come on, 2.
Ooh. Now, if someone specifically guesses 2, then
Then you get
No.
2 keys.
But yeah, the first one who guessed Anders was Lesser.
Yeah, and Anna 1, Andrea 0.
So it would be Lazarhead. Would be
Okay.
the first one who guessed Anders to win.
All right. So
Lazarhead, and let me check here. Either we'll check in the replay also.
yeah,
Make sure you'll probably get either a. Well, you'll just get a.
to this guy, to
A Twitch
send an
PM.
email to hello.
Well, just send a private message on Twitch and
Yeah. Private message on Twitch.
Have you seen this, Fred?
Yeah, that's your face, right?
Yeah. So yeah.
So the freelancer crew coming in to the chat.
So yeah, Gatsuga, you can send a PM on Twitch to the 3D Realms account, and we'll get back to you with a free key. Also, let's just make sure we got the other guy here. Lazarhead, you can also send a PM, and you can get a key. And again, if any of you who did not guess correctly try and send a PM, you will not, unfortunately, you will not get a free key.
Or try and play the game yourself.
Yeah.
Real bowling bombs.
If you do that, then maybe you'll get a key.
I actually think we did hand out roughly, I think, almost 1,000 bowling bombs, but that's back in 2016 at QuakeCon and so on. I wonder if some of them are still around there. If anyone in the chat here has a bowling bomb that they got at any convention, take a picture of it and we'll send you a key too, because that would be super cool.
So tag the 3D Realms or the Iron Fury account on Twitter and show the bombshell the bombshell kind of bowling bomb, and you can also get a free key.
Cool. All right, let's see if we have some more cool questions here.
That is correct. I actually saw him as well.
What is it?
Rogdar says he was first. One of the times I'm certain, like the first time he was first, I think. But
Kirill, you're keeping track of who
Yeah.
who are the winners. All right.
It's fair.
All right, let's jump back into it.
Yeah. Yeah, let's play a little bit while we answer some questions and slowly start to head off.
There is like 2 questions.
Yeah.
From the same guy, but just some time ago. Can split screen in the future, or
Oh, that's a question for Jonathan and Alex. Split screen Iron Fury. Holy shit.
Do you want to see something really weird?
Yeah.
It's not split screen, but I believe it's in this build.
If you
Just
send
stop
if you
moving
send
for
it,
half a second.
yeah, if you send it
and-
to Daniel on Discord,
Yeah.
Jacob
Let me
can
do
probably put it on the screen.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it's
Or
let me see.
Anything you send to
open the-
Daniel
open
can
the-
be put on the screen.
Let me just type this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna send it on our Discord here.
Just send it to Daniel on a PM on Discord.
so yeah, you're gonna get a console, or I'm guessing a console command here in a second.
Oh, console command.
So if
All
you
right.
check Discord, Jacob. Yeah, in a second here.
So,
probably gonna get a
so you should open the console first.
Let's see here.
And then I believe that's correct. Let me just double check.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Shout once you have sent it out, and then we can.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I'll send it to you. He tagged you in the message, Jacob, or tagged me, I should say. If you look in general publish, or yeah.
It's completely experimental, and it's not
Put that
split
in,
screen.
In the console.
It's not split screen, but it's something a little bit different.
It's something fun that I put in just as an Easter egg that anybody that's watching the stream right now gets to see.
Oh shit. Oh, actually, wait.
Shift and tilde.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, you,
Actually, I can do it from
we
here.
have a keyboard right in front of us. Okay, you can just do it.
Let me see here.
You can see that from the messages. It is tracking your achievements. So,
Yes.
by the way,
Oh, yeah.
Enable. 3D.
Now we're getting all the live streaming, all the secret stuff.
Whoa!
Hello.
I mean, that's.
it's cross-eye 3D.
that's
We actually have an
split screen.
Oculus Rift right here. Jacob brought one. Maybe. Oh, you didn't?
No, that
Oh
was just a
shit! That's where
box.
the microphone was in.
I mean, I'll give if anyone
uh,
manages to finish the game in this mode, then I'll.
You know what, Jake? You just keep playing. I have a fix for this.
Oh jeez.
No, I have fixed it. Just keep playing. Oh, yeah. Keep playing.
I mean, how the heck am I gonna?
I have a fix for it.
Don't do it. Don't try to play that way.
I mean,
You're gonna hurt
I have
yourself.
12 health. I have 12 health. I can do this. It's not impossible.
You just keep playing. I have a
Ah, okay. Well, a grenade guy killed me, but that was totally because of 3D mode. And luckily that is off now, so even that,
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
even that, I don't think would actually fix the 3D
It
mode.
works, right?
Well, now the 3D mode is off, but
Do you have a?
oh, it actually is
Oh my
flickering
God.
a little bit. So I mean, it's kind of is working.
Does it work?
No, it's definitely not.
Jonathan, can you enable the red and blue mode? in the
That
game?
actually
Oh.
doesn't exist anymore.
Oh god, that would be so cool.
Turn this off. This is maybe a little bit.
You're gonna hurt. I told you you're gonna hurt yourself. It was just a fun thing. I just hacked that in over like a weekend because just using the scripting language. So that shows you how powerful that is.
The power of the split screen.
Yeah.
That's why you don't want split screen right now.
No.
Yeah.
I don't even. Did we even answer the question?
No, we didn't.
Relatively split
There's currently nothing for split screen, but it's something that we have thought about. So
It's not as easy as some of the newer engines to kind of just let's just do split screen. That's easy.
no.
And there's
Well,
also
and-
like there's a lot of things that the dev team kind of wants to implement or fix or stuff like that. So there has to be priorities. As much
There's,
as people would want something.
So I mentioned this the scripting. So the whole game basically is moddable, and you had mentioned earlier about how difficult it can be to use an older engine and everything. But as far as your basic modding and stuff, you can do some really cool things really easily with this engine. And one of the cool things is that everything in the game engine is dynamic. Literally anything can be moved or changed at any point, even while the game is running and you're playing, and it's nuts. The fact is, like, we were at PAX and people were having some issues. Like they were like, oh, you should change this to this, or this could be like this, and we were able to, like, on the spot basically change it.
Yeah.
And have that running at PAX, and you can't do that on a modern game engine at all.
I think that's one of the appealing things about making maps for Duke 3D and build, especially back in the 90s, was the fact that it was basically like vu, what you see is what you get. You just run around, and with your cursor, you just, you know, add textures and raise and lower the ceilings and walls and angles, and it was just so much fun because anyone could literally jump in and just mess around with things and kind of figure out how everything worked. It just allows so much creativity out of the box.
So, as people probably have noticed by now, I have died a few times now. One of them was because of 3D, but I'll admit I died once because of not 3D. So, Jonathan and Alex, we get a question here from Plokite Wolf, who asks how the scripting support compares to Ritual's It Take 3 editions. That's a very weird and specific question. No,
because there's like nothing in common at all, I guess. Well, I know like Ritual added, you know, like real-time dynamic. They made a scripting language for Sin that you could do some pretty crazy stuff with. As far as I know, it was still all BSP that moved around. I don't think it casted any shadow. I think it was only shades of colors in terms of shadowing and so on. I don't know exactly how it worked. I guess that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, so in this case, we've got a lot more control over what we can do in the levels and in the game. Almost everything that you're seeing, that you're interacting with in the game, the enemies, the player, the weapons, and menus are being handled by the scripts. So everything is very moddable and changeable. I don't know if you want to elaborate.
Well, and then on top of that, I would say we've added so many map effects that are sort of generic in nature, like they're mostly building blocks to create your own effect. And so everything that you're seeing in the maps isn't like a canned script. The mappers made that using the tools available. Even some of the art that you're seeing on the screen, like if you look around at the Bennett's Steam Co. sign, that's not a pre-made piece of art. That was something that one of the mappers took some neon shapes and letters and stuff that that Alexander, the artist, made, and then constructed that himself. And you know, all the flickering and anything else, it's all mapper control.
We've put a lot of emphasis on customizability for mappers. So, for example, the neon letters and elements are a good example, but we also have a lot of customizability when it comes to textures and color schemes of those. That was our goal, to put a lot of tools into the hands of the level designers.
I think you worked really hard on the palette too, just to make sure that every mapper could sort of color code different areas in different ways, and it looks gorgeous.
That's one of the cool things about working with a palette. You don't really do that, you know, in modern games anymore. But I do think the purpose of what you guys done here is the same across all games. It's all about giving as much power to the designers as possible and kind of leaving programmers as much in the background as possible. So you don't, as a programmer, have to manually code anything the designers want. It's you know, at Slipgate right now we're working almost exclusively with Unreal Engine 4, and it's the same kind of approach our lead programmer has, where whenever we have a game design document, he programs in all the main features of the game, but he programs them in a way where the level designers and artists and general designers can basically script and put together and design whatever they want with his stuff without having to constantly ask him, hey, can you make this do that or make this do this? So yeah, it's about giving as much power as possible to the creative people.
The crazy thing is that because of the map design tools as well as the engine's flexibility, you could effectively, using Ion Fury, make mods using only maps. If
Yeah.
and to explain, Queen of the Hill, if you guys have played that yet, anybody, it's sort of a survival arena mode. There's spawning waves of enemies and stuff. The only scripting part of that was I was tracking the score and starting in cleaning up between rounds. That was it. Everything else is mapper controlled. They've constructed all of the waves, all of the map changes, all of it is 100% mapper.
That's kind of like with blueprints, in Unreal Engine 4, where a mapper can basically make a full game or full game mode all by himself.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I would just like to mention to everybody that I had literally 1 health bar left, and I'm playing with a controller, and I'm
playing in Civi mode.
I still haven't died. Well, I killed myself once, but that was totally on purpose.
So I would like to hear you guys on the live stream. Which custom map do you think will be the first one, from another game, uploaded to the Steam Workshop? Will it be Doom E1M1? Will it be Duke 3D Hollywood Holocaust? What do you guys think it will be? What do you guys think from Voidpoint?
It's going to be the first level of Tech War.
Oh, that would be so fucking cool.
I mean, that won't be a huge challenge, so...
I'm betting it's gonna be Hollywood Holocaust. I think someone will just take it, because he can put all the geometry in there already, and then just use the textures from Iron Fury, make it all nice and pretty.
I think actually someone on our team was playing around with a Mapster script that would allow to change the Duke textures into something close from our game. So that could be done automatically. So
you could write an AI.
I'm pretty sure he replaced enemies and everything. So.
Yeah, you could write an AI for the texture part. Visually, just have it look through anything that looks close enough in terms of pattern and colors and tone. Replace that automatically.
Well, and one of the things too in our people that are playing probably noticed is everything that you shoot, like different surfaces and stuff, they all have a different reaction, like a different sound, different bullet hole, different debris, different everything. That's every texture is labeled in that way. So you could go through and do the same thing for Duke Nukem 3D and say, okay, all of these textures are like this material and they match up with this material from here. So
that's kind of like what's called material functions and so on in Unreal, where you basically have a list of definitions: what is metal, what is dirt, what is wood, and then each material and texture in the game is pretty much put into that. Oh shit!
Why did you do that?
It's a lot easier to do this without. Yeah, it's 100% the controller. It wasn't my fault at all.
Don't blame the controller. You didn't have to go that direction.
I mean, I had to because there's stuff close by.
Oh shit! They asked when I'm gonna play.
You can play. Oh jeez. Okay.
Oh, let me show you how shit. Oh shit! Oh, I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Don't
see.
go down that red tunnel.
I see. The red is bad. All right.
The red tunnel covered in blood. Don't go down that one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, Jacob here has a question for Voidpoint, guys. All right. So Jacob had a question like, how much will players be able to modify the game? Like, will it be just maps, or will they basically be able to change pretty much anything?
Right now, we already gave access to the map editor, and I think that's the only game engine specific tool that you need, because the scripting is done through text, and new art can be included through PNG files and some text definitions. So I think you can do pretty much everything.
So we also got a question here. Actually, a good one is, how did you guys do the wind effects we're kind of seeing here in some of the tunnels here? Because was there these kind of wind effects in Duke?
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's like a sector, invisible sector that's just moving you or pushing you from the back, or
No, it's the fan. I'm running a bunch of calculations based on the direction and angle of the fan, and then the mapper's set its overall like distance and velocity, and then I just run the numbers.
Ventilation I specialize in.
God,
So,
this is so hard to control.
People that are doing user maps can play with those a lot. You can actually set them to be invisible too. So see, you keep doing that.
Well,
Not
yeah,
again.
I think it's the control. I agree. I agree with Daniel.
I would say then if you're having trouble, then as soon as you're coming up from the fan that's lifting you up there, start strafing. Just strafe early.
I think
There we go.
even if I was about to say even if you
Now
tell him
start
he's
strafing.
probably still
There you
gonna.
go. You're there.
I would ask the question about if there's games coming from consoles this year.
No, as far as currently is planned is one of the questions for if we're gonna have a console release this year. No, that is not the plan.
Not this year.
Not this year. Hopefully next year. That is definitely the plan.
Unless General Arcade are fucking hardcore and just like
Eh,
works day and night.
I mean,
No,
hey,
don't even.
Yeah,
I
we're
wouldn't
not even
wanna
gonna-
ask them. No.
yeah, no. Sewer count 39. That's correct.
Actually, this isn't a sewer. It's a ventilation system.
Yeah, what the hell? It's Civi? Why is he calling it sewer count?
There's sewery
Ventilation
water
system with-
stuff.
With sewery water.
There's water in an HVAC system.
Is there brown water though?
Yeah, but it's a shitty feature.
Nice try. It's half a sewer, half a vending system.
No,
It's a dystopia. They have brown water everywhere.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a dystopian city.
that's
Like
true.
there's no clean
yeah.
water.
True.
Yeah, this area actually, if I
Oh.
the level designers actually had everything planned out beforehand as far as each area that they wanted to make, how it fit into the game's world and lore, and so I mean you'd have to ask Leo, the level designer on this one, but I don't want to speak for him, but there was a whole thing about how Shelly has to go through a slummy section of town, you know, instead of the ritzy section because of where she ends up, and I don't know all the details, but he would know, and so that would be a good question.
Did you guys see that there's a Danish guy on a YouTube channel? He only has a couple of videos, but one of them is where he actually gets the bitching fast card. He is hardcore. It's like the graphics card is this long. It's like a hole in his computer case. It just goes out on the side. It is insane. He made another one with the new bitchin' fast, which is. Have you seen it, Jacob?
No.
It's like a. It is a joke. he made a custom PCB graphics card, but he plays it serious all the way through. There's one where he unpacks the new graphics card from Nvidia, and it looks like the box packaging, everything looks like an official card, but it's the new bitchin' fast, which is, you know, it's this long RTX 1080 Titan something in gold, and puts it in and tests it, and he runs a benchmark and so on. It's fucking hilarious because he plays it so serious all the way through, and there's so many people thinks it's real. But yeah, I don't know if anyone remembers the joke, but yeah, it was back in the 90s. I think it was in Magazine ad that was for a graphics card called Bitching Fast, which was fake. Yeah.
Oh, and we also got. I'd like to give a shout out here to Kill Pixel Games.
Hey,
Creator
Jeremiah!
of another wonderful 3D Realms franchise, or upcoming franchise, I should say.
Is Jeremiah in the chat?
Yeah, Jeremiah is in the chat. He's giving some love to the booze.
Do you smell popcorn?
Nope. What? Well, I don't. Was that some kind of internal joke or something? I don't
Are you
like smell.
feeling okay? Do we need to
Oh
call
wait,
somebody?
no. I think it's some kind of weird, very totally straight joke that Brad has with Jeremiah, aka Killpixel. Oh, this is a good question. Wrath/Iron Fury crossover? Question mark.
Well, we actually we talked about how fun it would be if we haven't asked Voidpoint about how fun it would be if Voidpoint did the expansion for Wrath and Killpixel did the expansion for Iron Fury, but then we remember that both are actually working actively on the game, so that would mean nothing would ever get done.
Yeah.
No.
But it would be pretty fun, anyways. It would mean that all the Wrath maps would suck and all the Iron Fury maps would suck because no one knows how to do anything in any of these engines. Like, I would love to see all these fantastic DSP guys from Killpixel just jump into build and start trying to make anything that's even remotely as cool as this.
Don't tempt me. I always wanted to make some art for a Quake engine game.
Well, I haven't touched Quake C in probably 15 years, so wow, that could be fun.
Aww,
Anyway,
the little puppy. There's a little puppy in there.
Oh,
He's like, oh, he's licking the window.
you want a little treat?
Oh, it's out.
Bam! Okay, can I give him a
The
little?
thing is, though, that puppy is quite sick sometimes. He loves to bark.
Oh, you want a little stun? I don't know why it's so satisfying when you do this. Whenever you walk past the house and there's a dog in the window and it's super mad.
Yeah,
and
just like
stare at it. Like, hey, little friend, what are you doing there? And you just know if that door opened, you just be like,
you'd be dead. We got a question here. Could you talk a bit about the making of books in the big box?
the making of the big box.
Well, no, not the making of book, like the book.
Oh, the making of booklet. Yeah, of course. So the making of booklet is basically a. If you check out the developer blogs on the Freedoms website from Voidpoint, they cover everything from the making of, how the levels were made, how the art were made, the engine, all the tweaks, and so on. It's basically all of these in book form. Super nice, 64 pages, ton of content. There's some forewords as well from actually Jonathan wrote the foreword. So yeah, it's basically all this in a nice thick A5 book. 64 pages.
Yeah.
Jacob behind me here did the book, did the layout.
Kind of, got everything together. But yeah, people are like saying, will the book be available either for non-founders or founders later on? And no, I mean that's the thing. We got to remember that you can kind of. That's the thing. It obviously it won't be a physical version, but a lot of the stuff in that book is already available on the Voidpoint side. So you can actually kind of look at some of that stuff already now.
We understand why Founders Edition purchasers would love to have some of the things in the regular edition, and people with the regular edition would love to have some of the things in the Founders Edition. When we put together these two editions, first of all, we did it a year apart, but also we want to make sure that the value that you pay is equivalent to the content you actually get. And the Founders Edition is twice the price, almost twice the price of the regular edition, but it also includes a floppy disk, USB thing. It includes a figurine. It includes a lanyard. It includes a mouse pad. It includes a full physical soundtrack. All these things are not in the regular box edition. The regular box edition also includes some cool things, but most of them are relatively easier to make. Like an A5 paperback book is easier to make than a 5-inch figurine. And that's also the reason we can sell it for cheaper than the Founders Edition. So yeah, there's something for everyone, in each of the boxes. Whether you're, for the bigger, more physical items like a figurine or specially designed floppy disk and so on, there's the Founders Edition, which is unfortunately sold out. And for the more regular user who wants a cool box and a cool game, but doesn't want to pay $100 to get all these extra things, you get this cool little collector's booklet and a poster and some other cool things.
And I think also a good thing to know is like again, yeah, it was a year between the two boxes, and even stuff like I think a lot of people are gonna appreciate, especially with the Founders Edition and the floppy disk kind of USB thing, is that we looked into it not that long after we finally ordered ours, and you really can't get those anymore. So they're gonna be pretty exclusive for the Founders Edition.
Especially the one that says Iron Maiden on them.
Hopefully, none of those get out.
In like 50 years from now, they're gonna font like Iron Fury 10.
Oh boy.
Oh, I can't drink the chlorine. Shit, I can drag it.
No, you can blow it up though.
Yeah, shoot it. Go right up
Shoot
against it and shoot it.
No, no.
Don't do it. Do it, Fred.
He's only got 24 health.
Yeah, and there's this shotgunner in here. He's just waiting to rape me. Oh, I shot him right in the balls. Holy shit! Bam.
Now that's a good question I have of the programmers here. Like, why is there not a testicle shooting sprite and animation for that?
Yeah, when they like get down on their knees and be like, oh shit, my balls.
Well, the question is, could build even handle a hitbox or detection for that small of those few pixels?
You could, but it wouldn't really be worth it. And then, you know, think about how all the work, like even the hit frame is multiple sided. Like in most older build games, you know, you would shoot an enemy, you'd get a one-sided frame, just a single frame of them being hit. And in this, they're actually, because we do the stuns with the baton, we made sure to have multiple sides every time an enemy shows its stun animation. And so that's a heck of a lot of work for the artist.
Indeed it is. It's
come on.
Yeah, it's one of the challenges of this kind of game, because in a fully 3D you can just drop in a model, and here we kind of have to fake it. So that means a ton more of animation frames for different angles.
Alright, so we've been streaming what now for 2 hours?
Yeah, I think that I think we're about to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But for everyone who's here and joined us for this long, we are going to jump into the Discord channel. If you don't know where to go, it's discord.gg/3realms, and inside the general chat, we're gonna jump in there, and then for the next hour or so, or for however long people want to stay, we're just gonna be and have a chat with you guys. But yeah, I think that for now, for the stream, we're just gonna say thank you.
So yeah, if the Voidpoint guys have anything kind of last words, do you guys want to say before,
final last words
before we shut off for the night?
Play our game.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. It's awesome.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much, guys.
One last thing.
Yeah.
Is that we have reached overwhelmingly positive.
Ooh, 99%. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's very, very awesome. So yeah, thanks
That's
to everyone
fantastic.
like who has reviewed the game on Steam or
Yeah. And fuck the 1%.
yeah, fuck the 1%. That's true on Steam and in real life.
Oh shit.
Fuck that 1%. So I think that's gonna call it for.
I think we're just gonna turn off abort
on that great on that great note. Let's call it for that.
Before we end,
yeah.
Should we put on links for Twitter and Discord? And stuff?
Yeah, like if anyone wants to follow us on Discord, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, we're gonna post some links in the chat here as we close off, and you guys can follow us there for updates about Iron Fury stuff and other Free Realms and Voidpoint related stuff. So yeah.
See you guys on the 3D Realms Discord general voice channel.
Yeah. And then play Iron Maiden
And
or
play,
Iron Fury. Play Iron Fury.
Not Iron Maiden.
Not Iron Maiden. Iron Fury.
Don't play that shitty game.
No. Iron Fury. Go play that and have fun with the guys.
See you.
Cheers.
Just awkwardly waiting until he like turns off the stream. Yeah.